Rise and shine, Hoosiers. Welcome to Bloomington Breakfast Club. I'm Lydia Knoll.
And I'm Gabrielle Valenson. We've got all your sports stories, campus news, and entertainment buzz for the week, so grab your cup of coffee and enjoy.
And stay tuned for our exclusive interview with the Big Ten Championship coach after these updates. Spring is finally on the way. Gabrielle, what kind of weather can we expect to see in this next week?
Yes, temperatures are definitely getting warmer, just in time for spring break. So you can expect to see a high of 64 degrees and some showers heading into the evening and early Tuesday morning. And after Tuesday's storms, Wednesday and Thursday, we hope to see more sun, and the temperatures will range from about the 40s to upper 50s. And then I don't know about you, Lydia, but I am so ready for this warmer weather. So ready.
With warmer weather comes the great season of baseball. Your Indiana baseball team has officially started its season. After a rough loss to Cincinnati, the team currently holds a record of 3-4-1. They play their first home game this Friday. In addition to baseball, softball is now underway. They participated in the Judy Garman Classic this past weekend and now head to Tennessee for the Memphis tournament. As our spring sports are getting started, our winter sports are wrapping up their Big Ten tournaments. A few teams have finished their respective tournaments, and many more will take place in the coming weekends. The wrestling squad is in their Big Ten tournament right here in Assembly this past weekend, while women's basketball competed in Indianapolis. Men's basketball heads into their Big Ten tournament this coming weekend. I will be traveling to Washington, D.C. with IUSTV Sports for the coverage. Be sure to tune in to IUSTV Sports on Facebook and at IUSTV Sports on Twitter. Gabrielle, what sort of news do you have for us today?
Yes, Lydia, this past Friday, Sigma Pi Fraternity hosted its second annual philanthropy called Last Man Standing. Students from different Greek organizations fight in a huge boxing match, and all the ticket proceeds and fundraising efforts go to the American Cancer Society. Half of the proceeds go to the warehouse where the event is held. The warehouse is a nonprofit organization in Bloomington, and the professional Gold Glove winning boxers help train the students for months up until the large event. Lydia, you actually boxed and represented your Greek chapter for the second time this year, which is so exciting. What made you want to do it again?
So, no, not at all. But so last year I'd actually joined for fun as kind of a way to stay in shape and learn something new. I had never done much boxing before. Yeah. But then while I was training for the event, my brother was actually diagnosed with leukemia. And so it made the event a lot more personal to me, which is why I went back again this year, because I had to fight for him after he fought against cancer.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Boxing is such a great workout.
Oh,
it really
it's
is.
Amazing.
Yeah. In other news, spring break is just around the corner, and this semester is really flying by. Students are getting ready to head to the sunny beaches of PV and Fort Lottie, or getting ready to head home after a long 2 months for some well-deserved R&R. The last day of classes will be Friday, March 10th, and will then resume Monday, March 20th.
Now for our favorite part of the show, the unnecessary update of the day. And I know Gabby has wanted to talk about this topic for a while now.
Oh, yes, I have. It has been a little over a week since the unexpected fiasco took place at the 89th Annual Academy Awards. It is a mistake that will go down in Oscar history. Some people are saying that Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway pulled a Steve Harvey after presenting the wrong Best Picture winner. But the real Steve Harveys of the night were the two accountants from PwC who messed up. Reports have emerged that Brian Cullinan had two envelopes in his hand, one for Best Picture and the other one that he gave to Beatty.
Cullinan admitted that he mistakenly gave Beatty the extra envelope for Best Actress. Cullinan tweeted out a photo of Emma Stone winning for Best Actress just minutes before the mishap, according to page6.com. He was informed to not tweet again while working.
The Associated Press stated, quote, "Film Academy president says the two accountants responsible for the Best Picture mistake will not work the Oscars again," end quote.
I can guarantee that this mistake will still be relevant next week, however, it's a little unnecessary.
But we all secretly want more updates on this Oscar drama, so it's necessary. And as Lydia had mentioned earlier, the Hoosiers track and field team is coming off of a huge victory, the Big Ten championship. Take a look at what goes into a Hoosier sports victory.
We happen to have a crucial member of the team's success with us in our studio this morning. Everyone, please welcome head coach Ron Helmer. Coach Helmer, we're so glad that you could join us today.
My pleasure.
So to get started, we know you're coming off of this huge success with the Big Ten championship, not only as a team, but also with individual accomplishments. What's one or two specific accomplishments that you recognize individually that maybe surprised you?
We had several young kids end up being Big Ten champions, but of note, Trayton Harris, who went into the meet seeded number 9 or number 10 in the long jump, came out with the win, with a big personal record, and it happened early in the meet. Got our momentum going pretty well, and then he came right back and the next day and gets second in the high jump with a big PR as well. So he had a great meet. Eric Bethea, a sophomore, won the triple jump. Willie Morrison, a sophomore, won the shot put. Those kind of things happened, but probably the biggest performance we had was Daniel Kuhn in the 600 when he ran the 5th fastest time ever run in the world to win the 600, set a meet record, and also had to carry on our distance medley that set a meet record as well. So those are probably the highlights.
Yeah, certainly.
That's great. What makes this team different from others that you've coached?
Specifically, last weekend they won. You don't get to win very often, and it's a very difficult thing to do. The Big Ten is very competitive. Putting together a group of kids, a group of athletes who can come together and produce a winning effort is just very difficult. But this group is young. This group is extremely young, and we kind of saw this coming. We knew that we were getting better. We knew we had the right people. We just didn't know that it was going to come together quite as soon as it did. And so I think their enthusiasm for the competition, their willingness to be risk takers and believe that they're good enough now instead of having to wait longer, probably sets them apart a little bit. They're true competitors, and it showed last weekend.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've had a lot of success in your personal coaching career. You won Big Ten Indoor Championship back in 2011, 2012, right? Mm-hmm. So what sets this one maybe apart from that one, or are they the same? Were you feeling the same emotions?
No, I don't know. This one was different than, and you know, I've done this for a long time, and so there's been lots of conference championships at other schools, but this was a group of athletes who got on a roll early on in the meet, and it just seemed like everything went right. They fed off of each other. They got excited. They were truly into each other's efforts. They supported one another, and in a meet where I thought it was going to be very difficult for us to win, they took over very early on. At the end of day one, they were in control, and then as a coach, you start wondering, are we going to do this in day two? Or are we going to go flat in day two? And in day two, they just came out and resumed, and it was a fairly remarkable effort that they gave us.
Awesome, very good.
Yeah, love that. So, what else? Okay. There were some thoughts and feelings going through your head. What were those? What were you feeling during all of this? This was an exciting time.
You know, as I said, you don't get to win often, and winning is validation for the work that my coaching staff has done, for the work that our athletes have done. But early this year, we sort of set the stage. We challenged them to do more, to be better, to act a little bit more like champions, to prepare a little bit more like champions, and that's all well and good. But if you don't end up getting the result at the end that you want, then it sort of rings hollow. And so number one is sort of validation for all the work that we did. It paid off. And for coaches, for athletes, for anybody, when you see your work result in the or end in the result that you wanted, it's a great thing. But it was just the first day I was down on the floor, I was on the backstretch, I was coaching, I was in their ear, I was working pretty hard. And what I decided to do the second day was I sat in our team area, and of course I'm talking to the athletes that I coach before they go out, and I'm talking to them when they get back. But I was up in the stand, sitting in a chair, watching them kind of take over and watching them do what they do. And it's just very gratifying when we get to a point where athletes then are kind of running the effort, running the show, and making it work. And so that probably was the thing that and I never do that, and I should do that more. So certainly I wasn't overcoaching. I think it just indicated the preparation had been put in place, and our event coaches were down on the floor, and they were coaching, and they were doing what they were supposed to do. But it was a lot of fun to sit there and watch the athletes kind of take over and make sure that it happened the way it was supposed to.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So now, coming into outdoor season, how do you plan to use this momentum that you have to carry through?
You know, you would hope it would just easily work like that. Getting good is easy, and I don't want to understate or overstate that. It's not particularly easy, but the excitement of getting good, it's new. We've never done it before. That excitement creates a motivation for the athletes. That is pretty undeniable. Once you get to a certain level, staying good is more difficult, because to stay good, you have to work that much harder. To get better, you have to work that much harder. Right. And it's sometimes kind of hard to sell that idea, because, goodness, what we just did gave us a Big Ten championship. We got rings, we got this, we got that. And now you're going to ask us to do more, but in fact, we do need to do more. We need to get more people involved. We need to get more athletes to a different level. We need to get the athletes that we have to a higher and higher level. And so we can't back off. We can't rest on our laurels. We've got to continue to work, and we just need the athletes to embrace that. They need to understand if Willie Morrison is ranked number 6 in the country in the shot put, he has to be completely driven to ultimately be number 1 in the country in the shot put. And I think we're like that, but we still are working with 19 and 20-year-old kids, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time for them to figure out how difficult that really is. So that's the challenge we have. We'd much rather be in the situation that we're in now than if we hadn't won, and so they have a sense of what can be. But we as coaches now have to go to work and make sure that we help to facilitate that. And so it's just more growth. We just need to continue to grow, continue to develop, continue to mature.
Right.
Certainly.
What are your expectations for the outdoor season now that you've seen, how talented the team is?
It's very, very exciting, because we've got some great individual athletes who are going to continue to get better and be among the best in the country. And when you have those kinds of athletes, there's an excitement, there's a spark, there's this a spirit that is present that I think helps buoy everybody. Our challenge is, we know we have other athletes equally as talented who just may not be quite ready, who may not be quite as motivated, who may not be quite as committed. we have other athletes that we need to get to that level as well. And if we can do that, we're going to end up being really, really good as we go forward.
So you've helped some of these athletes reach, like you said, several new personal records. You've helped them improve to their very best. How do you improve personally as a coach?
You know, as I said, I've been doing this for a while, and I would not do it if I didn't think we could have the result like we had last weekend. You still have to be driven to succeed, driven to win, driven to beat people. It's not good enough for me or other successful coaches just to have a good, solid group of kids who can be competitive, who, you know, it's great that they graduate, it's great that they have great grade point averages, it's great that they do all those kind of things, but we still want to win. And winning needs to drive everything. And whether it's an obsession, whether it's this, whether it's that, it doesn't matter. It's what drives me, makes me want to get up every morning and come do this and do this better and better and better. And so, and we have athletes who look at that and say, thank goodness we have a coach like that, because that's what we want to do too. And so it's just maintaining those relationships, working together with the kids, with the assistant coaches, making sure that we have a chance to put ourselves in the best situation possible to do that. And when I get to the point where that's no longer interesting to me or fun or I'm not as passionate about it, then I just won't do it anymore. But right now I am, and I intend to be like that for a long time. And in sport these days, sometimes I think we lack that. I think we have a lot of people who really enjoy being a part of athletic teams and athletic programs who have not yet embraced the idea of, you know, one of the things we're trying to do is just beat as many people as we can. And, you know, it's easy to talk about, and we're really good at that. We're not always really good at doing the things we need to be able to do that. And so for me, that's what drives me, is finding ways that we can continue to get better and better at that and put ourselves in a position so that it comes to fruition. And this time it did. Hopefully next time it does. And like I said, we're an optimistic lot. And so in my mind, we're going to win the next one, we're going to win the next one, we're going to win the next one. I know how difficult it is. We just need to prepare to do that.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So to wrap it up, you know, you've had a lot of success in your career as a coach, and let's say, you know, someone wanted to, someone had that same goal of coaching. What advice would you give to that person?
Think it over. I have people all the time, you know, the 22, 23, 24-year-olds that want to do what I do, and they have no idea of what I did to get to the point that I'm at. And if they knew what a lot of us have gone through to get to that point, I don't think they would be as excited about it. They would rather skip points B, C, D, E, and F on their way to wherever and start at A and end up at Z, and it just doesn't work that way. And so my advice would be for them is, first of all, you have to learn how to coach. You have to learn how to interact with people. You have to learn how to teach, and that can be done anywhere. I mean, I coach middle school kids, I coach high school kids, and a lot of people don't use that route to this profession anymore, but it was the most valuable thing I did, because learning to interact with people, who aren't going to be stars, who just want to be out there, who are just trying to figure out who they are while they're participating in the sport, it's what you need to be able to do. And so all those people who really want to do this, I would just tell them, you better be good, you better figure it out, you better have something going for you, because being a mediocre coach is not the kind of life that I would want to live. Just being there, just playing isn't what drives great coaches. Great coaches want to win, and if all you want to do is coach, then you can do that anywhere. If what you want to do is win, you better do everything you can to become as good as you can possibly be.
Certainly.
Yes. Congrats on everything.
Thank you.
That's so exciting.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
definitely. And thank you so much for joining us today. We love getting the chance to talk to you and discuss your recent championship.
You really did. Yeah, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. As always, be sure to give our guest a follow at IUTrackXC on all social media.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BTownBFastClub, and don't forget to use the hashtag BTownBFast.
Have a fun and safe spring break, Hoosiers. We'll see you after.